guys, welcome to Kate's Fashion Flips. In today's video, we're gonna package up my sales over this past week together. I have been out of town. My family, we flew to Florida, we went to Disney World, we hit up Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot, and then we had like a relaxation day in the middle. And we spent all day Monday and all day yesterday traveling. And so now I am home, ready to get back into reselling, and I have a lot of stuff to package up. I have sales on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. I did turn my stores back on Friday. It is Sunday now, but I knew that if I turned my stores back on Friday, and it was like middle of the day Friday, that any sale that I made from then on, I could package up and ship out either tonight or Monday morning, and it would still be a good time window. For eBay, I just put wouldn't be able to ship until October 27th, which is tomorrow. And that works out great because I don't have anything that I have to ship out on eBay today. I think anyway it would have made it the 27th because eBay gives you a couple extra days if you make a sale on the weekend, but I thought we could package up my sales together, and I did actually charge my camera this time, which is great because I do need to have my camera because I need to have my phone, and sometimes I'll use my phone camera, but it is nice to have my actual camera too. And then I have my Celsius because I am very tired. I had a 6.5 hour layover yesterday, which was brutal because I had two little girls to keep entertained. But let's dive into going through these sales, shall we? I say we start off with Mercari because that is where we have the least amount of sales. We have two, which is actually pretty surprising. I very rarely make more than one sale on Mercari in a week, if I make any sale at all. So I sold this pair of free fly leggings. I'm gonna have to move this stuff over here. But yeah, I sold this pair of free fly, leggings. I got these at a yard sale. I believe I paid $3 for them. I listed them for $32. I got a $25 offer, and I accepted that because that is a pretty good offer. Free Fly is a brand known for their clothing made out of bamboo. I don't think this specific piece was made out of bamboo, but I do know that it is a newer style because I was able to find a stock photo for it. Free Fly, I feel like, is one of those great bread and butter brands that fly under the radar. I'm not sure if it's a newer brand, but I learned about it recently within this year when I found a new with tags sweatshirt at the bins. Getting the shipping label on Mercari is always a little different because you click open label and then it downloads it and they have to click on the download. But here it is. And sometimes I will ship with Mercari doing UPS ground for items that are over 1 pound, but this one was under 1 pound, so we're just going to use USPS shipping, and these sold to a Sydney. I just remembered that I actually didn't turn off my Mercari store all week. Like, I didn't put my Mercari store on vacation mode because there was this lady on, I think it was Sunday evening. She said, oh, I want to buy this. I'm going to buy this tomorrow. But that was the day that I was going to be flying. I was going to have my husband package up this printer and ship it out for me. Well, she kept messaging me throughout the week and she never bought it. But luckily, the sales I made on Mercari were towards the end of the week, so it kind of worked out perfectly, although I'm sad I didn't sell that printer yet. First sale done, though. Next sale is another Mercari sale. Like I said, I have two, but this only sold for $11.25. It is a Abercrombie & Fitch puffer coat. It's just filled with like polyester, but the reason I got it was because it's like brand new. It's faux fur lined, and it's an Abercrombie & Fitch kids size 15-16, but when I got it home, I realized the zipper is broken, which is probably why it was still there and why nobody picked it up. So I'm glad that I sold it for $11.25, which isn't much, but it sold relatively quickly for it having a broken zipper, and I think I paid like $6 for it. So I think I just made my money back, but I'm really happy to just get this sold. When it comes to coats, I don't put them away in bins in my inventory. I just hang them up in my closet because this is like technically a bedroom. We have 2 bedrooms downstairs, and my husband uses one room for his office and I use the other, and there are 2 closets in this room. I don't know who designed this room, but whoever used to live in this room was really lucky because they had 2 closets in here. Gonna take a swig of energy. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure if this coat's gonna fit in there because it's pretty puffy. I mean, puffy coats usually you can like push down, but I don't know. Checking the pockets, they are clear. I might have to go and buy like a 12 by 10 by 9. Usually I have 10 by 12 by 9 boxes, but on the boxes I usually buy on Amazon are out of stock. I think it might squish in there, maybe. Wishful thinking, it might be kind of distorted. Maybe I shouldn't even try. No, it's working. It's working. It's going. It's going. Yes. Whew. Okay, I think we did it. I think we did it. I just got to get some tape to hold it down. But yeah, they didn't say sold for $11.25. I'll take it for a mistake that was my own. And which is so funny. After I bought this, got it home, realized that the zipper was broken, I said to myself, okay, Kate, you need to be more thorough at looking at the zippers when you're buying something, especially from the Goodwill outlet, because there are no returns and no exchanges. And then what do? A couple weeks later, I buy another puffer coat. This time it is an adult. It's from Mark, New York. It was down-filled, which is why I got it. And not only is the zipper broken, it's unrepairable. There are pegs missing. So you can't just like replace the zipper part. You'd have to it's unrepairable, okay? You'd have to get like a whole entire new zipper, which is unfortunate. So hopefully I can get that one to sell as too. But like I said, this one was like brand new, other than the zipper being broken. So I think that's why it's sold. I'm an open label. This one, since I believe it was about 4 pounds, it is going to have a UPS shipping label, but I'm very lucky because right next to where I live, there's a Harmon's grocery store, which has a USPS inside of it. And then there is also a UPS store within the same like shopping center. So that is great. Oh, this is going to Florida, which is crazy. When I was in Florida last week, it was sweltering. Like it was sweltering. I couldn't believe it was late October because it was brutally hot there and it did not feel like winter at all. But they must have some sort of winter in Florida. All right, moving on now to Poshmark, where oddly enough, I didn't get like any notifications that I made sales on my email. And so I missed these sales until I went onto Poshmark and then checked my sales to just see if I had missed any sales. And I'd missed 3 sales. And then I finally did get a few emails with another sale and then an offer or 2 more offers, and I did accept one of those offers, and then I countered the other offer. But the first thing I sold on Poshmark after turning my store back on was the North Face jacket. This is a size extra small. It is a woman's full zip, and it is very fluffy, very soft. Size extra small if I didn't say. This was actually in a pile for me to send to ThredUp because I just cannot sell the North Face for the life of me. If I do, it takes forever to sell and it sells for very cheap. This one did take a while to sell as well, but I was gonna send it to ThredUp, but I'm happy that it sold for me because it sold for $25 and I believe I paid $3 or $4 for it at the Goodwill outlet. So that is great. Gonna check who it sold to. It sold to an Elena. Get a poly mailer. This is just a really cute North Face jacket, and it's crazy because North Face, it retails for so much. In fact, I think that like in Asian countries, the North Face is like a pretty high-end brand. When I was in Florida at one of the parks, I noticed this Asian couple, and they both had the North Face backpacks, which kind of confirms that theory of mine. But the North Face is just very saturated on the secondhand market. Yes, certain things from that brand can do okay, but not basic jackets, and especially a woman's basic jacket. Men's clothing seems to sell better in certain brands than women's does. I don't know why that is, but it is the case. I was debating about doing this ship with me video with you guys because I prefer doing what sold videos over ship with me videos, but I'm not going to do a what sold video for this specific week because I was out of town, and so I made less sales than I usually do. So I'm glad I'm doing this ship with me video. So first Poshmark sale done. Every day that I was at Disney World this week, I drank a Celsius in the morning because I woke up way earlier than I usually do. This next sale, I am so happy. This finally sold. I believe it's been over a year now. This is just from the brand Ann Taylor, which is not a brand I look out for. This looked like an older tag. But the reason I picked this up was because it was butter yellow. And my favorite color is yellow. I just thought that this jacket was so freaking cute. I paid $8 for it, and it finally sold for $27. So here it is. I'm actually gonna make sure that it was the correct SKU here. Yes, P17, because I don't want to take it out of this plastic wrapping. I used to wrap every item that I photographed and listed in plastic wrap and then put it away in my inventory. Now I don't do that, and it saves me money on clear plastic wrap. But I'm so happy that this sold. I really do not pick up the brand Ann Taylor anymore. Even in like nice material makeups, same with Loft, I just can't get them to sell. Like I recently picked up a really nice material makeup Loft kind of vest cardigan duster, and it's had no attention. It's super thick and nice quality, but Loft and Ann Taylor, I just cannot get them to sell, so that is unfortunate, but I'm really happy that this sold for $27. I think my profit's around $12 to $13. Struggling to get this one in because it's pretty boxy shaped. All right, got this one in. It sold to a Amy. And let's get the shipping label. I'm actually surprised by how many sales I made these past couple of days after turning my store back on Poshmark, because sales on Poshmark 2 weeks ago were so bad. All right, we packed up the Ann Taylor, and I hear my baby crying for me. She just woke up from her nap, so I'll be right back and we'll finish packaging up the rest of the sales. All right, guys, sorry, I am back. My daughter woke up from her nap. We just recently set up their bunk bed, and so now she can come out of her bed herself. And yeah, she was crying for me. My husband didn't hear. So we're gonna keep packaging up, and we have 3 more sales on Poshmark after we already did 2, which is crazy compared to 2 weeks ago, like I was talking about, because sales on Poshmark were so bad 2 weeks ago. It was like pulling teeth. It was so especially frustrating because I was listing the most that I have like ever been in my entire reselling career, but now maybe that is paying off. So I sold this pair of dance clothes for $28, which is actually pretty good because there is some like toe indenting, but other than that, these are in pretty good condition. The tread is really good. There aren't any marks. I think I paid $6 for these. I can't remember where I got them. Usually I can remember, but for those, I have no idea. Those did take a while to sell though. Usually dance goes, well, depending on the style, they'll sell faster or slower, and also the condition. Very surprising that those sold now though, now that we are in winter. I was wearing shorts and short sleeve tops all week, and now I'm back in a sweater because it is very cold where we live, but I don't know. I like Utah. Like I say all the time, I hate Utah, but now that I've been in Florida for a week and it was sweltering hot, like I'm happy to be back in a place that actually gets cold in the winter. All right, so let's put these dance goes in here. All right, those are packaged up. I unfortunately have not gotten the Ground Advantage Poshmark's shipping supplies. I sent out an email twice. I did try calling the number too, but I had already been on hold for like 15 minutes, and I thought, I'm not gonna wait for however long to finally get on the phone with somebody. I even get like a confirmation piece of mail saying something about getting packages from, or getting shipping supplies from Poshmark, but I've yet to get shipping supplies from Poshmark. So maybe I'll try a third time, but I am not too hopeful. I'm just going to have to factor in now that I'm going to have to pay for shipping supplies for Poshmark, which, you know, it was a nice added bonus beforehand that I didn't have to pay for shipping supplies, but I still make the most sales on eBay. That wasn't always the case. I used to make the most sales. It got jammed for a second. I used to make the most sales on Poshmark, but now I make the most sales on eBay by far. I was actually writing down the statistics for my what sold video I'm going to record tonight, and I made way more sales on Poshmark or on eBay than I did on Poshmark for 2 weeks ago. I made 5 on Poshmark and I made like 20 on eBay. But yeah, this pair of shoes sold to a Linda, and let's package up another shoe sale because I sold these Jessica Simpson heels. This brand I do not look out for to resell simply because it doesn't really have a resale value. I'm not sure what it retails at. I'm assuming around $60, but I got these at the bins. They were in really good pre-owned condition. They were also a smaller size. They're kind of like, I don't know, kind of avant-garde snakeskin print. But I finally lowered the price to $20, and then after Prime Lister sent out its discount, they sold for $17. So pretty happy with that because I've had those forever, and I kept lowering the price, and whoops, that's the wrong tape. I kept lowering the price, and because I've had them for more than a year, I was very happy to let them go for a lower price. And because they came from the bins, I probably only paid like $4 for them. So I still made around a $10 profit, which isn't too bad. But in the future, I don't see myself picking up these Jessica Simpson heels because they're not really desirable. They're just heels. I mean, they're lace up too, which I don't know how popular lace up heels are anymore. But happy to have those. Speaking of Florida, it's crazy how much more expensive things can get state by state. We went to McDonald's the first night we were in Florida, and everything was like way more expensive at McDonald's. And I was thinking, this is crazy, right? And so I wonder, I wonder what the thrifting's like in Florida, because if it was that much for McDonald's, I don't want to know how much thrifting prices are, but Florida still has Goodwill outlets and stuff, so you could still strictly source that way. These sold to a Kimra, which is cute. I don't know if I've ever heard that name before. Or maybe it's just like a Poshmark name and it's a combination of 2 words. But all right, one more sale on Poshmark before we hop on over to eBay. And talking about eBay, I actually thought I'd make more sales last week while I was on vacation than I did. I made 8, but it only shows I made 7. Maybe somebody didn't pay for the thing I sold, but I sold this Margaret O'Leary men's sweater for $25, which is a lot less than I was hoping to sell it for, but I was just happy to be moving things because it was going to be a less profit week anyway because I wasn't listing stuff. And then I got a notification saying that Margaret O'Leary sweater sold for $25 and it's not showing up anywhere on my app. So maybe I'll need to check it on my laptop, but we will see. This last thing to sell is a pair of Gianni Bini black leather ankle boots, and they're kind of like cowgirl or cowboy boot looking. I think I paid around $12 for these at Savers. They look like this, and there's a tiny bit of wear on the toe, but Gianni Bini actually retails for a pretty good amount. It doesn't necessarily have resale value, but this is a cowboy style, and I don't know, cowboy boots, they always sell if they're genuine leather and in good condition. You can always get them to sell. I did pay up for them at $12, but I knew that they would sell, and they sold within just a couple of months, and they sold for $38. So I had them listed at $45, got an offer, of 38, which I actually think was how much Prime Lister sent out. And then they didn't accept that Prime Lister offer, and then they sent me a $35 offer, which I somehow missed seeing. And so they offered 38, a few dollars up from what they previously offered, and they sold. So I'm kind of happy that I missed their earlier offer so I could sell it for a little bit more expensive. But I think that is it for shoes. I don't think I sold any shoes on eBay, which I'm okay with because although I love listing shoes and taking pictures of them because it's very quick, packaging shoes up is where the time difference is made up. And then these sold to a Helen. So let's print these out, or let's print this label out, excuse me, and we can head on over to eBay. All right, last Poshmark sale, and we're heading on over now to eBay. I have so much inventory right now that I need to list because I went to the bins, and that was my most recent video, I believe, where I went and I did a bins haul for you guys. But then I went to another thrift store, and then I went to a bunch of yard sales on Saturday. So I have a ton of inventory that I need to list and take pictures of, which is good, although I haven't gone thrifting all week, so I want to go, but I have a ton of inventory that I can get through. So I don't need to go sourcing for a while. But I'm really happy to get back into the swing of things because I missed reselling, although Disney World is fun. It's, you know, there's something about reselling. That's why I love the phrase, you never work a day in your life if you love your job. So, starting off on eBay, I sold this bra from Free People Movement. I actually saw a lot of people in Disney wearing Free People Movement. And this bra, I think only retailed for around $45. It sold for $16. I believe I paid about $4 for it. I bought it at Uptown Cheapskate during their big 80% off marked tag sale. And it doesn't have a name for this order. It just says SMS Studios, which I don't know what that means. But this is going to Ohio, and this probably weighs nothing. Yeah, it weighs 2.6 ounces. So I probably put the wrong amount of ounces for this thing. I put 8 ounces, so I can just change that to 3, and I'll probably make like a little bit of cents. Okay, so I made like 75 cents on shipping. But Free People Movement is a really good line from Free People. I think that Free People Movement sells even better than just Free People themselves. I think it does better than Free People, or Intimately Free People, excuse me. Happy to have that bra sell for $16. Really good bread and butter sale. All right, next sale is another $16 sale. And I believe I ran this dress in a Whatnot show back when I was doing Whatnot. I keep seeing things about Whatnot and people selling on Whatnot, and like a trauma response happens. Like I can never go back to Whatnot. Sorry, not happening. It's just not worth it in my opinion. But this is a beautiful dress from ASOS. It's kind of like a column dress. Actually, I think that's what it was called. Oh, maybe I just put column in the title, but it's very lightweight, long sleeve, and it's purple and floral and longer length. So I thought it would sell faster than it did. But it did take a while to sell. Based on the weight, I probably paid $2. Came from the bins, sold for $16, like I said. But I did not anticipate it taking as long as it did to sell. And I probably overestimated the weight on this one too. Oh, this is international. When it says EIS in the beginning, that means it's international. And then it has, I don't know if those are Chinese characters or Japanese. They're very similar. But let's see. I put 1 pound. I don't think this weighs 1 pound. Let's see. Shall we see? Yeah, this only weighs 7 ounces. So, made a little bit of money on this package. I'm going to change the weight real quick to 7 ounces. I don't try to make money on shipping, but sometimes I do. I really need to. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I need to pre-weigh my things before I list them, and I will do that for hard goods, but for clothing, I just estimate. I just really need to work it into my routine, making sure I weigh stuff, the actual weight of clothing pieces, before I list them, because although sometimes I overestimate the weight, sometimes I underestimate the weight, which is detrimental because you will be charged regular USPS shipping, not the discounted eBay shipping rate. All right, next sale is this new with tags Alex Evenings dress. This is maxi length, size 12, retailed for I don't know how much it retailed for, but this dress is very nice, very beautiful, very like, what's her name? Audrey Hepburn vibes. But I could not get this freaking dress to sell. I only paid $3 for it. Originally, I think I had it listed for like $75, dropped it down to $50. It's finally sold after more than a year for $29. I paid $3, so I still made a pretty decent profit, but I'm surprised that it didn't sell for more based on the length of the dress and the style of it. I mean, you'll see the picture I pop up. It's a beautiful dress, perfect for like bridesmaid season too, or like a black tie event, but that's okay. Weighs 1 pound, 5 ounces, going to a D. That's all they had for their name. And I did overestimate the weight on this too. I've noticed for when I overestimate the weight of an item, if it's under 1 pound, so say it's actually only weighs 4 ounces, but I put 12 ounces, I'll make more money in shipping than say I had put 2 pounds for the item and it actually only weighed like 1 pound, 4 ounces, because for some reason the weight jump or the price jump from 1 to 2 pounds doesn't usually make a difference, but like ounces under 1 pound does, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I have been, well, actually I haven't found a ton of Alex Evening's dresses recently, or like since I picked up this dress, but I don't sell a lot of formal wear in general because it's a very slow mover for me, but new with tags, I have a very hard time passing up. Another brand that I've only sold one time or 1 or 2 times is Tadashi Shoji, and I would love to find that brand again. I actually, this past weekend when I was, or not this past weekend, 2 weekends ago when I went yard selling, I found a new with tags Alex Evening's dress that retailed for around $200. And that one's sparkly, beaded, and kind of a more mature look. So I'm hoping that that one sells faster than this one, which took, I think, not just over a year, but over 400 days, which is a little sad. Next sale we have is something that I was also considering sending to ThreadUp. I had not yet put it in the pile to send to ThreadUp, but this is from J. Jill. I think it's a newer tag. Yes, I was able to find a stock photo for this. It's only a size small, which I avoid getting at all costs, but if it's from the bins, I'm more likely to pick it up. But this was J. Jill and size small, but it was new with tags. So that inherently added value, paid $2 for this, and it sold for $19, which in my opinion is pretty good. And it's a really nice green color. It's kind of a ribbed knit, and it has like a funnel neck look. So happy that I sold it myself, because on ThreadUp I don't think I would have made that much. I may try to drop off these packages tonight at the Dropbox at a different USPS location, because the USPS located in the Harmon's grocery store is not open on Sundays. But I might not, because does it really make a difference if I drop it off in the Dropbox or drop it off tomorrow morning? The thing is, if I try to drop it off at the USPS that is not inside the Harmon's, it might be full, because before I even knew about the USPS inside of the Harmon's, which is really close to me, I'd always go to this one USPS, and the Dropbox, especially on Sundays, was always full. So maybe I shouldn't even try. Okay, this next sale is not a shoe item, not a clothing item, not an accessory. It is a hard good. It is Glinda, and it's specifically the outfit worn in the first Wicked movie. It is Ariana Grande's outfit. Although this doesn't look like Ariana Grande that much, and her hair's more orange than blonde. But I remember picking this up, and it was like a month or 2 after, or it was very soon after the movie was released, the first one. And I thought, ooh, this is gonna sell really well. So I listed it for like $50. Okay, really shot the gun on that. But it finally sold almost a year later for $16. I think I paid like $2 for it, 2 or 3. Happy to have this sold. I couldn't find a brand on this. It doesn't have a brand on the bottom or anything, so I really have no idea. But somebody bought it, and I made a profit. So fun thing to test out, but because it is glass, Glinda glass, I will put it in some plastic wrap. I'm excited to see the second movie. I really liked the first movie. I I'm not a huge like theater person, but I was pretty excited to see the movie the first time it came out. And then actually, okay, I'm like struggling to figure out how to put this wrapping on. Put some tape right here. The second Wicked movie is coming out, I think November 12th, and I'm pretty excited to see it. And so maybe had I waited, there'd be a resurgence for this, but this dress is from the first movie, not the second, although she may wear the same dress again, but I don't know if she does. So I ran out of bubble wrap, so I'm gonna put it in this one, wrap it up a few times, and then I'm gonna grab another bag. She is glass, so that is kind of tricky. I don't like selling a whole ton of glass, but like I said, I thought I'd be able to sell this for more around $40. $16 isn't as worth it for trying to wrap this up. But I'm gonna get a garbage bag and wrap her up one more time. Okay, I found another little bit of bubble wrap. So that is good. I did buy a whole other wheel of bubble wrap, but I didn't want to get it out and find it for this video. Let us speak loud, let us speak grateful that I got that packaged up in a timely manner. 2 more sales, I believe, on eBay. I sold this Zara blazer. Now, Zara is a mall brand. There aren't many things from Zara that will sell well, but Zara blazers are one category that sell very well in Zara. And I believe that this was made of wool or wool blend, and it's very dark academia, preppy. I also found a stock photo. There's like this like little like white dust on it, which I will wipe out. But yeah, how nice is that? And really happy for the quick sale, because this sold in like a month, I think. I very recently went to say, actually, I think I might put this in a box because of how thick it is. I did pay up for that. I did pay up for the Zara blazer. I think I paid $12-ish, but it did sell for $40 in like a month. So pretty happy with that. Boom. Let's put it in here. And yeah, it's a really nice blazer. Probably retailed for $100 to $200. In past Ship With Me videos, I have said that I don't put tape on the side right here. I just do like one long piece. I've stopped doing that though, because for some reason, I don't know if the boxes have become less sticky or what, but I've started to put extra tape. We have one more sale, you guys. We made it through. Actually, do we have 2 more? No, 1 more. Okay, so last sale is from the brand Sundance. It is this beautiful dark blue lace kind of floral A-line skirt, and this is a size 8 from Sundance, the newer tag, but I did pay up for this. I think I paid like $11 or $12, and comps are around 40, but I could not get this thing to have any attention, so I accepted an offer of $22 today because I've had it for so long. So I didn't make a ton of money from it, but I've had it for a while. But yeah, really pretty Sundance skirt. The brand Sundance, I don't know, I can't fetch a ton of money for it, even new with tags. So it's one of those brands that I am very, very, very picky with, and I don't think I'd ever pay $12 for. But the comps were really solid, so that's kind of disappointing. I hate when that happens, right? The comps look really good for an item, and then it sells for way lower than comps look like it said it would. All right, last sale, you guys. Boop. Packaged up. These are all ready to ship off, but we got through all the sales. And if you made it to the end, thank you so much for staying until the end. I am very happy that I made all those Poshmark sales, all those eBay sales, and those 2 Mercari sales. I think I would have made a Depop sale by now, but I got left a really, really bad review on Depop for one of my last sales, and it was completely unfair. It was for a pair of clogs, which looked immaculate to me. They looked in really good condition, but then the review was a 1 star, and she said that there was a very obvious stitching hole in one of the toe areas, which I could not see when I was packaging it up, when I sourced it. I also could not tell in the pictures, but had this buyer reached out to me and said, hey, there's this flaw, even if she was lying, I probably would have sent her a refund, because I prefer losing a little bit of money to getting a 1 star review as my most recent review, because that's going to affect making more sales on Depop. And so I messaged her after I saw that 1 star review today, and I said, hey, a 1 star review seems kind of harsh, especially because she never reached out to me. I said, hey, you could have reached out to me and asked for a refund, or we could have talked it out. But yeah, she gave me a 1 star review, very, very harsh. My seller score now I think is at 4.4 out of 5 now on Depop, so that's really discouraging, and I don't think that there's a way for buyers to take away their reviews, and I don't think there's a way for me to dispute reviews. But let me know if there's a way to dispute reviews on Depop. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!